So only with the certainty of the divine revelation of that divine mind can we know anything.
Stop it. Get some help.
This is why, for this reason, evolution undermines the laws of logic.
What? No, evolution doesn't undermine the laws of logic. It's illogical to say that evolution doesn't happen. Like, that shit just doesn't make sense.
There are no laws of logic. It's not built into the fabric of the universe. It is merely a man-made construct used merely for survival and procreation.
They're not just used for survival and procreation. I would say that you can use the descriptions of logic and apply them to situations for, survival and, I guess, procreation. The laws of logic and all this other stuff they're not designed just so that you can fuck Mary from the bar. That's not the reason that they're designed. There's a bit of a nuance here between the description that we call logic and the absolute truth of reality, or what actually exists in reality. The laws of logic and any other man-made human description, those are our descriptions of what happens in reality. If we don't understand what happens in reality, our descriptions of it can be wrong. We have methods and processes to try to bridge that gap so that we get the best representation of that reality.
Because there's no other transcendent truth. There's nothing higher than the material. And if you are, again, a theistic evolutionist, then it almost implies that you can ascend through a process of evolution into a state of divinity. Right? Because if we came from the swamp to the land creatures, to the chimpanzee family, to the upright man, evolution's not done. After man, you have the Superman or Ubermensch.
I'm fast as fuck, boy. Still fast as fuck, boy. Come get some. I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Hyperman, demigods, and ye shall be as gods. Oh gee, where have we heard that? The lie of the serpent.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I agree, Arduin. No amount of booze can fix this kind of fucked up. Evolution does not entail us evolving to Superman divinity status. That's not how evolution works at all. We're never going to be able to do that. Superman is a godlike figure, but also he was crafted to be that way just because of that's how he was crafted, right? That's how he was designed. But that's not what evolution entails. We're always going to be evolving, but all that means is that we're going to continue to adapt to our environment. That's all that really evolution is. It's the adaptation to the environment that you're in. And it's the change in allele frequencies and how those new changes or whatnot allow you to survive better in the environment. It's all about how life changes to survive in the environment. That's what evolution is.
I don't know what in the fuck you just said.
Again, Dr. Bonson says it very, very well. In the ancient tradition, the Greek tradition, some of the other traditions before that, there was this belief of this chain of being that ascended upward between the physical, and after you transcend the physical, you go into the ethereal or the spiritual.
No.
But that's not the way it is biblical. There's the spiritual world, and then there is the physical world. There's nothing biblically that, assumes that we can transcend into the spirit world in and of ourselves.
No, don't like that.
So what he's basically saying here is that he's coming from a Christian perspective of reality. And so if it doesn't match what the Bible says, then that means that it's not real. While I disagree with the whole transcending into the spiritual realm or the ether or something like that, because the ether doesn't exist. Spiritual realm, for all intents and purposes, we can't know, and we don't know whether or not it exists. But for the time being, since we don't have any evidence that it does exist, then we don't need to say that it definitely does. Neither of those things are viable explanations at this particular point. But what he's showing here is that he's coming at this from a biblical perspective. If it doesn't match the Bible, then it is wrong. The Bible is the bar for determining what is real and what is not for him. That is scary.
So yeah, there's that chain of being, from the lower animals to humans to the angels to God.
Oh my God! Wow!
But it assumes that it's this ladder-like structure. This is purely philosophical. You can believe it if you want to, but that's not science. And a lot of the evolution, the idea that fish become philosophers, that frogs turn into princes. well, given enough time and chance and, evolution. See, frogs become princes. That's literally what happens. And, that's why evolution always starts out with long ago and far away. Because they're getting ready to give you their fairy tale.
I can't think of one evolutionary scientist or one person that accepts evolution for the fact that it is, that would start out talking to somebody about evolution by saying,
A long time ago, and very, very far away, a prince turned into a frog, and then back into a prince, and then fish turned into a philosopher. So one day, a fish got up, walked around, called itself Confucius, and there you go. That's how fish turns into philosophers.
none of what he said is actually evolution or represents evolutionary theory or anything like that. Frogs don't turn into princes. That would violate the law of monophily, which, in case you guys don't know, the law of monophily says once an organism is part of a clade, it is always going to be part of that clade. A frog is not part of the clade that Homo sapiens are in. So there's no way that that frog can turn into a prince unless you crown a frog a prince.
But evolution, if it really is just a matter of survival.
I don't know if you guys heard, but Casey said some philosophers are fishy, though.
If materialism, if evolution is true, if evolution's true, then it's the whole brain, the human mind are made purely for survival and procreation, and laws of logic are mere conventions that have nothing absolutely binding to make them give you any form of transcendent truth, which has always been the goal of all philosophers, past, present, that they were pursuing some sort of a truth that can be found through philosophy.
I mean, I would agree philosophers do pursue truth, but I mean, science also pursues truth. While they pursue absolute truth, they don't claim to ever attain absolute truth. There's nothing binding. I don't know what you fucking mean by binding. I'm guessing you mean like the laws of logic bind to this reality so that you can't violate them. We've just been able to fine-tune our descriptions of what we perceive as logic. We've been able to fine-tune it to the point where we haven't been able to violate them. All the time in science, in philosophy, you have things violate these theories, principles, laws. There are things that we find that violate them, and so then we have to change our descriptions. This has happened all throughout history. I don't know why just now, in 2020 or 2019, I can't remember when you fucking made this. I don't know why you think right now you have the absolute truth of reality, when obviously the people of your own religion in the past have not had the absolute truth of reality. What makes you think that you just now have the absolute truth? Christians have been fucking wrong in the past. Evolution's one thing that they've been wrong about. Slavery was another thing they were fucking wrong about. To be fair, everybody was wrong about fucking slavery. They used their religion in order to enslave other people, even in the Bible. They've obviously been wrong in the past. They don't have absolute truth whatsoever.